Found on major platforms serving the smart TV market, SportsGrid's real-time data transforms viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Get the best in game live coverage during all the games, as well as the most in-depth pregame previews from hosts like Scott Farrell, Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens, Gabe Morency, and many more. To find out where you can watch SportsGrid, go to sportsgrid.com/watch. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And now it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Royal Polaris, the world's finest long-range sports fisher. By Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here right next to the San Diego landings in Point Loma, and we have a couple of great guests here. From the Royal Star and Fisherman's Processing, it's Tim and Merrilee Ekstrom. We're going to be talking fishing, fish processing, and more. So you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app, SportsGrid Radio Network, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 1090 AM.
The name that stands out among anglers is Fisherman's Landing, your top choice in local and long-range fishing. Hi, this is Doug Kern. Our hardworking crew will make sure your fishing experience is one to remember. We offer the finest open party trips from 1 to 3 days, the best charter boats available, and of course, our world-renowned long-range fleet is second to none. Fisherman's Landing is a full-service operation offering great half-day trips on the Dolphin and full-day open party trips on the spacious and comfortable Liberty. Since we introduced the full-day trips at Fisherman's Landing, the 85-foot Liberty has become a favorite among full-day operations with bunks for your comfort, huge bait capacity, and RSW fish holds to keep your catch fresh. Plus, Liberty has a big modern galley and 2 interior heads with showers. All our open party trips from half-day, full, or 1 to 3 day trips can easily be booked online at fishermanslanding.com or give us a call at 619-221-8500. I'll see you at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Give your boat the love it deserves and install a custom Sea Deck kit from Blue Seas Fabrication. Blue Seas is the West Coast's only certified Sea Deck fabricator and installer. Sea Deck upgrades the look and feel of any boat, old or new. Sea Deck non-skid decking adds comfort, convenience, safety, and value. Let the experts from Blue Seas Fabrication custom fit your deck, bridge, and interiors with stylish, durable, stain-resistant, and easy-to-clean Sea Deck. Check BlueSeasFabrication.com and enhance your fishing experience.
Everyone has their go-to fishing spot. My spot is Kingfisher Charters in Sitka, Alaska. Rock Cod Rick here to say if you're looking for the ultimate Alaska experience and the best value in Alaska, it's Kingfisher Charters. Owner Seth Bone and his crew consistently deliver deluxe accommodations, the finest food, world-class fish processing, and top-of-the-line fishing experience. We've literally sent hundreds of our listeners to Kingfisher, and they all can't wait to go back. Most Alaska resorts make big promises, and they don't deliver, or they'll nickel and dime you to drive up the cost, but not Kingfisher. Everything is included. Your license, fish processing, super deluxe accommodations, amazing food, airport transfers, your gear. Literally all you need to bring is your layer clothing, and Kingfisher covers the rest. They also have the finest boats and charter captains in Sitka, all for the ultimate value.
Hey guys,
take it from me.
back.
Book your trip to
Stand by.
Kingfisher Charters and you'll thank me. Kingfisher Charters, 800-727-6136 or check kingfishercharters.com. Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, what a fun show today is going to be. Great to be back after great Christmas.
Yeah, I hope everybody had a Christmas. Santa bring you everything you wanted.
It was an awesome one. Yeah, we had a really good time.
Good. Santa bring the kids everything they
That's the thing.
wanted.
Well, Wyatt's almost 3 now, so this is like the first year of him like really getting Christmas. You know, the lights and the Santa and the this, and we had the absolute best. We had the best time. It was awesome.
Oh,
really fun. Yeah.
Good. And how about the Ekstroms? Did they have a good
It
Christmas?
was absolutely wonderful. What a great time. Yeah. Super chill, hanging home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
nice.
it that way.
Yeah.
And, Duke understands Christmas now too. So.
Does he? Yes,
yeah. It's all good.
He followed.
Oh, fun.
No more believing in Santa Claus for Duke?
Hey, I didn't say that.
I still believe in Santa Claus.
Right.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah, for sure. So Royal Star, you're out fishing.
They are. They're on the final trip of the 2024 season, which has
Wow.
been phenomenal, as
Pretty
you guys
epic
know.
season.
Oh my gosh, what a year!
Yeah.
You know, especially on the long range side. It's just this is hard to believe because everything you read and doomsday. Last fish is swimming in the ocean and 500 boats are chasing it, so on and so forth. I'll tell everybody, this has been hands down. Nothing even compares to this year of yellowfin tuna fishing. The best year we've ever seen yellowfin tuna fishing by such a wide margin. I've told all these young bucks, it's like, if we ever see something like this again, you'll be lucky.
How many years have you been at this to make that statement too? You know what I'm saying? Like
long range fishing since 1987, 1986, local fishing here since 1983, 1984. So
doing it for hundreds of days a year.
Oh yeah.
And this is the best you've ever seen.
By far.
That's rad.
We saw a period, and of course the fishing itself, the caliber of the fishing has just been absolutely off the scale, but the grade of the fish this year is really what's been the standout. I mean, going down every and obviously not just us. I mean, the entire fleet just going down and one-stop shop, and in the supermarket too. You can choose which size you want. The 30 to 40 pounders this year, which on any year that's a beautiful grade of yellowfin tuna, above average by far. But those were the small ones; those were the dinks. Like you
drive away from those.
Catch a few of those, you're driving away. Like, man, we're looking for the good ones. Those 60 to 80 pounders, which were abundant in a lot of different places.
Same zones though for the fish.
Sometimes,
yeah.
Sometimes you drift along and start out 30, 40 pounders, and guys, we could talk an entire show about how incredible this fishing was. Just drive down. Just all you had to do is get a strike, a stop.
Wow.
1 meter mark, stop the boat, and 5 minutes. Start 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and another one going. 15 minutes later, everybody in the boat has one on. And what started out, oh yeah, and then what started out as 30 or 40 pound fish, there's a 60 pounder. And the big ones move in and just push all the small ones out of the way.
No way.
And again, like every boat, every day in multiple different areas, just crazy.
Following along on the website, it looked like there were times where it was just too good. Like you've got 6 days to be down here, and you could get finished in an afternoon
easily.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
you
wild.
really did have to, we managed it.
Sure.
It's like you catch this to here, save a few for the back end,
right?
And manage it. And that was probably, if there was any challenge, it was
good.
infusing that variety into it,
bet.
because it's like, okay, we got our tuna. You want to catch your yellowtail, you want to get your wahoo, you want to get your dorado, and sometimes that was a tall order, but what a great foundation for just epic trips. Like you have this beautiful grade of tuna, and it really did give us a lot of freedom to move around, look at other things, again, target some variety. Just what
and it seemed like a perfect world too, in that the bait at the end of the year was all just nice, really big sardines, so you could fish heavy tackle, and the fish were willing to bite heavy tackle, and it just seemed like a perfect scenario.
Yeah, you reminded me this trip. It was a 10-day in the first part of November, and again, hats off as always to Everingham, who's just done a phenomenal job out there. Between the improvements they've made to the receiver, their fleet, how they target. I mean, there's nobody that even compares to Everingham Brothers as far as live bait. They're the one. And the reason that we're successful as a sport fishing industry is because of the bait that they provide. So, I mean, what a great relationship we have with them. And this load of bait, though, I was thinking about. So,
are you getting sardines?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a little period where it kind of fell off. There's a lot of anchovies mixed in, but this load of bait, Pete, it was like 6 to 8 inch sardines and bigger ones. There were some big old jumbos, right? The whole load. And they were perfect. I mean, the most beautiful sardine you could ever imagine. You just look at the train of things this long, and you're just like, oh my God, look at that thing. And they were all like that. And targeting that 60 to 80 pound yellowfin.
Perfect.
I bet they
100 pound, 80 pound.
Come on.
Yeah. And that bluefin that came down and started, it did what it does every year. It made the U-turn, comes back down, and it started mixing with all that yellowfin. So,
oh my God, how cool is that?
Just drifting along, 6-hour drift, and it's a 60 to 80 pound yellowfin, or if you get one through them, 150 to 180 pound bluefin on those giant sardines.
That's so rad.
It was heaven, man.
That's
Heavenly. Cool. Like this was. Again, I'll say it, this was the best year for tuna fishing, yellowfin tuna fishing. The probably the most fun you could ever have as an operator, because not because it was easy, because it was available, the grade, and believe me, we've put in our time. We've earned
it. Exactly.
No kidding. Now, what about at the processor? What cutting all this fish?
That sure makes somebody else busy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I could say we went through a lot of yellowfin stickers.
Oh, I bet you did. That's cool.
Probably after the last few years, you probably stocked up on bluefin stickers.
We
but then
had to reorder plenty of both.
Plenty of both.
I'm going to say it, but I got to say, when it comes down to it, George and the crew back there, what they're able to do with that tuna and the beautiful side product that's come in off the boats and how they process it, it's amazing. And the capacity that we were able to go through, I'm so proud of how much we actually were able to get through and get back to the customer within the same day. So they've just done an amazing job.
Yeah. So
besides stickers.
Yeah, besides stickers. Well, now you guys are exclusively 5 mil bags, right?
Oh yeah, we have been for a long
5
time.
5 mil bags are amazing. The difference between a 3 mil and a 5 mil is like night and day, right?
It really is. It's just the longevity. Your product will stay through. If God forbid, you're digging through your freezer and you've got that 5 mil in there, it's going to hold the seal much better than the 3 mil bags do. So we've been the whole time that I've been there, the year and a couple months that I've been there, it's always been 5 mil
already.
Oh, it was before that. Sean made this decision a long time ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I think maybe 3 years ago. But like, honestly, simplifying, only offering 5 mil, it's so great. I get the reservations and the customers like, your thickest bag. I'm like, you betcha. We got it. That's exactly what we got. Yeah, that's what we use. Yeah. It's a point of pride to say we exclusively use it.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about Fisherman's processing is your crew, right? I mean, that crew is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're blessed. We really have amazing
people. How do
people.
you find such quality people to cut fish, to package fish, to the front counter? I mean, it's not easy these days.
Well, right? I will say that the Rojas family, Viviana, who leads our operation from the docks back to the shop and going through, and her father, George, who's our head cutter and the back of house manager, they've been with us. Well, George has been with us since day one. Raymond and George have been running the back since day one. So 14 years. And the loyalty that they're able to instill in the crew that's back there. And then the front desk team, I'm thrilled to say that I've had a lot of influence on that. We've introduced Catherine Lewis, who's our front desk manager, and she works in complement with Viviana. And then we've got Jordan. We had Gigi for a while in the front. We just look to try to make the angler's day. Like, we know you come back, you're burnt out, you're fried. You probably had a big night the last night on the trip. Yeah. And our job is to try to get you the service that you want, get you the fish that you want, so that you can take it home that day and go for it. And all of us agree that that's our goal. And
how do you guys do, like, like this time of the year, you're on like vacation almost, because you only have to work like a few days a week. You're working 7 days a week. Like, it seems like 24 hours a day during the season. I mean, you guys are down here like 4 a.m. or something like that sometimes, right? 5 a.m.
Yeah, I think our earliest morning we met the Polaris Supreme at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh,
yeah. And that was it. So again,
how do people do that?
You know what? Like, it's the foundation of our business. Like, we've got to be there when our customers need us. Yeah. So that's what we do. And then we come back and go from there. And then right now we just try to stay open consistently, because we've got like the private boater that does drop-offs for us and various things along that line. It's, it's honestly, it's an honor that people choose us to take care of their fish. It's great.
It's a real point of pride too. It's very similar, obviously, to being on a boat fishing. And the harder it is, the more it motivates you. That's the culture there in the building now. That's really that's what leads to our ability to produce that product day in, day and go through the kind of volume we do. It's like the guys in back are energized by it. It's like another good day. And we also, as we realize, it's a seasonal business. So, you got to make hay while the sun shines. And when the sun's shining, you don't want to be griping.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be thankful for it, even though, and I tell you what, you guys, I rolled up my sleeves a lot this year and got involved in the fish processing side. Obviously, with Merrilee taking over, us taking over from Sean. There was, you know, I thought I knew, you know, quite a bit about the whole fish processing end of sport fishing, of long ranges, and I didn't know anything.
That's interesting.
Like this was a real, you know, a real learning. It was an eye opener, big time. In that, this is hands down the most difficult, most challenging business that I could ever imagine. I mean, you guys think about every day, again, you know, especially during the season, peak season, you've got all these local boats coming in, you got the long range fleet, and there's just, let's just say on one of those days, crazy days, there's 5 long rangers that come in, right? So you've got, you know, 100, 130 people, you got all this fish, like thousands of fish,
the volume
individual,
is unreal.
Yeah, and everybody wants a custom order. Everybody's coming in within an hour and a half or 2 hours of each other. All that fish is coming off, and every boat does it differently.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Every boat has their own way of doing it, has their own way of communicating with the customers, and every customer, of course, we all want the same thing now.
Yeah,
I want to fish now. I want my same day part now.
You want same day? No, you want same minute.
Yeah, I got to get on the road, baby.
Exactly.
Do you offer same minute?
We have add water and shake.
Yeah. So and you know, the I don't want to call it chaos because it's not. It's organized. There's a dance, you know, that everybody's familiar with up there, obviously, but it just has this element of just craziness that, you know, it's 1,000 miles an hour for like 2 or 3 hours at the docks, and then all that fish in the totes, you know, transported back, and then getting back there, sorting it all out. And mind you, every order is a custom order. Yeah. So each individual order, you know,
you don't get to just blindly cut and throw it in a bag.
No, I mean, it's a real testament to the ability to pull off the extraordinary, because it is. I mean, I'm telling, and everybody listening, it's extraordinary that the processors are able to perform that job as well as they do, day in, day out, and just, you know, dealing with managing the chaos and whoo, man, I'm telling you, it's something else. So cool. It is. I have such tremendous respect for everybody that is part of this, and all of our listeners out there. You should too, because man, I'm telling you, it's a real feat. It is, and you know, I will tell you.
You can go watch, right?
It's so cool.
You can go,
it's like, so cool.
They have that beautiful watch window. You can watch the process happening, and it's pretty amazing.
Well, and it's so funny because everybody wants it. Like, we were snapping our fingers and going after it. Like, I have fishermen come in, they beat the fish there. Like, I'm pulling in and I get there early.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, good morning. Hey, you beat the fish. Yeah. So give us a minute. Yeah. We're gonna get there.
Set up here.
But then they see my number went down the line a while ago. And I'm like, yeah, because the vacuum sealing is the longest part. Because you got to think every cycle.
So people are that anxious, huh?
Oh,
it's like they want to get on the road.
Yeah, and they don't blame
go have
them.
breakfast, go chill out, enjoy San Diego's skyline.
But they do. Like, so you get in at 5 a.m. You go have breakfast. It's like 7. Shop opens at 8. So they're like, why isn't it?
So
done?
you're not cutting until 8.
No, that's not true. We start cutting at the very beginning. As soon as the fish gets to us. Yeah, we have a crew. And that's part of the improvements that we've made is we have a crew there waiting for the fish to get there.
Well, as soon as the fish gets there, come on.
Our crew has specific jobs that are lined up. That's the other thing too. It's like we're ready to facilitate carryouts, all those other things when we open at 8 a.m. But everybody's like, but your crew's there. And it's like, yeah, and they're doing the other part of the job so that we can get it to you. So just, but like, as long as there's communication, which I would say is the biggest accomplishment that we've made, is just communicating openly with our customers this year. As long as you let us know, as long as you communicate with me, I'll be there as early as you need me to be so you can get on the road the next day and go from there.
On the flip side of the waiting, like, I get to see the exact opposite of that countless times in the tackle store. Like, the number of times the same story has played out where a couple of guys are come back and they're telling their stories of how great their fishing was and they're kicking tires and looking at a new reel, and then the phone rings and it's somebody from processing saying, hey, your fish is already done. That scenario plays out 3 times a week, every week, all summer long, where the look on people's faces, like I had, I had 15 tuna and a bunch of yellowtail. There's no way that our order done and on the road already. Like it, I would say like I get to see the opposite. I get to see the surprise of people that can't believe that the fish is already done.
I love it
because you guys are on the road.
Well, we added the second table this year. We really increased our capacity on what we're able to do. The second table, we added a third bagging machine. So we really do our best to.
So the vacuum bagging takes the most time.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It does.
Just because you have to wait for the machine.
Well, it's so meticulous. No, you have to make sure that the bag is dry and clean in order for the seal to take. Right. So, it's just a meticulous process. Every single bag, you have to wipe out the inside.
Every
of it,
fillet goes in.
Because when you put the piece of meat in there,
it
hits the side of the bag, right? So you got to wipe that out, and it has to be done right, obviously. Otherwise,
you say it could be faster, but it wouldn't be Fisherman's processing.
Yeah, and even we added the second table. We figured that we would increase our capacity by maybe a third, and it doubled it for sure.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how fast that product comes out of there. Going back to the fish getting there also, we stage our resources. So we'll based on the reservations that we get. We know when those big same day. Those big days where we have a lot of same day demand, a lot of same day customers, and we stage our assets. So we'll have, I do it all the time. I'll have my truck there. We have a couple pickup trucks there where those first two totes, because, we sorted out there at the land. And as soon as we have that fish sorted out, we know those totes, we separate it out the same day and we stage them according to the queue that's established by when the reservations are taken. So we know, say, number 1, 2, 3, 4 are number 1, 2, 3, 4 in the list. We'll throw those two totes into the back of my pickup and I shoot over there. I'm at the processor at 6 o'clock with that those first two totes. So maybe there's 6 totes of same day fish. Well, we've already got the first 2 at the facility and the guys are cutting on them before the fish, the rest of the fish even gets there. We really get the jump on things. That leads to a lot of those phone calls, those first 4 or 5 or 8 orders where it's not even 8 o'clock and we're already through the first 6 or 8 same days orders.
So Merrilee, if you're anxious to get your fish and get on the road after your long range trip, how do you get that first position?
Well, I think the key is making your reservation. Like go online.
No, is it first come, first serve?
It's first come, first serve.
So if
and
you make your
literally
reservation, like you book your trip, you book your reservation, you're likely to get right up front.
Yeah. And then it's dependent.
Want to do that.
But then it's dependent on when your boat gets in. So, so the boat gets in, and then this is another urban legend out there. So captain told us we were the first boat at the dock. Well, you're the first one, but then everybody took pictures and you're all lollygagging and we don't get their fish until we've had 2 other boats come in. Yeah. And then they get a little frustrated when they get to the shop and it's like, yes, you're first on your boat, but your boat's number 4 for today. So it really comes down to when their boat gets in and when the fish gets to us, because there are boats that are incredibly efficient and it goes through. And then there's other ones that logistically, sometimes it has to come all the way down, come back all the way up. Sure. And then it's up at the top of the dock.
So because you're number 1 on the Royal Star, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be number 1 at Fisherman's Processing because there might be 3 or 4 boats ahead of you.
Absolutely. Yeah. In the majority of the time, full transparency, Polaris Supreme gets in at 5 or earlier at Seaforth. And so we'll get Seaforth and nobody over here at these landings between H&M, Point Loma and Fisherman's, you don't even realize it, but we're already working on, that man. Right? He's a great fisherman. Yeah. They do a great job over there. So, and it's been really fun to get to know the whole Seaforth gang over there too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you mentioned private boats. So you guys do take fish from private boats.
We do. Some of my favorite customers, Jim and Pat Gerard, they always listen. If you're listening, hey guys.
And how do you arrange it?
So you can do it a couple ways. We're open every day from 8 to 2. So you can just show up and let us know and we'll weigh your fish that day. And if we've got space available, we'll process it. Or you can go online, make a reservation, let us know you're going out on your boat and drop it off. And God forbid if you get skunked, you can pass it forward to the next week and you're going out, or I'll just refund it. It's that simple.
Okay.
That's actually really important, that point, especially during the season.
Yeah.
If you're going out in the summer months on your private boat and you want processing available, make a reservation because there's those days, we only have so much capacity. Yeah. Obviously you can only fillet so much fish. So what's the set number of reservations now?
set number. So we can take 75 total reservations, but
Per day?
for same day, it's 30 is our max that we can get out. And that includes
You
same
can
day or
process
next day frozen.
75 different
We can
accounts a
take
day.
75 reservations,
Holy mackerel.
and bring them in. But the capacity issue is not just what we get through. I need everyone to understand it's what we can hold appropriately, because we take a lot of pride in when the fish gets to us, having it refrigerated, keeping it on ice, keeping it in totes, keeping it in an organized fashion. And there's only so much space in our walk-in. We also purchased an outside refrigeration unit that we take the totes and we put it inside of that. So that's where our capacity is. Like, I don't have enough physical square footage to put your fish in here.
You're not going to be laying them out on the pavement outside waiting to get processed.
No,
And like that's the Fisherman's processing story. Like, and that the origin of why it started was, you guys put so much effort into the ultra premium product that you wanted to get to see it through until it got handed to the customer. And like you spend so much effort, finding and catching and then gilling and gutting and RSW and doing everything like you possibly could to the product. Like, you want that same level of care when that fish is getting cut and processed and packaged. And
yeah, for sure. Well, as you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you today. A lot to talk about here on Let's Talk Hookup this morning.
Well, you're not kidding. What a team to have in here this morning. Going to be a lot of fun, both on the fishing side, the fish processing side, the whole thing. It's going to be a great time. And if you want to join us, man, we sure like to hear from you this morning. Give us a call at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090 is how you reach us on the phones, or send us a text. Text the show. So popular. A ton of great texts already coming through. And the only way to text in your questions is through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. It's the easiest way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. It's the easiest way to catch all the archive shows, all the great information, wins and wears, and all the info is always available on the Let's Talk Hookup app. And it's the only way you can text in your questions to Tim and Merrilee this morning. Again, make sure that you include your contact info when you do as well, because we are giving away a killer prize at the end of today's show. And we want to make sure to get it to you if you're that big winner. And that is going to go to one lucky caller or a texter decided by the coin flip at the end of the show. And that is going to be a full day trip going fishing on board the Liberty with Captain Taro and the boys. A great opportunity on some really fun fishing coming up this next season. I know those guys are working on their maintenance period, getting that boat sound for another killer season of fishing, and really stoked for one of our lucky callers or texters to get to go fishing on that beautiful boat.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to remind you that this is our last weekend that we're going to be on 1090 AM and the Sports Grid Radio Network. But if you listen on to it, like majority of the listeners that we have, the majority of our listeners are listening to us on the Let's Talk Hookup app or watching us on YouTube and Facebook Live. Nothing changes there. Right. That is going to be identical. Nothing changes. But next Saturday and Sunday, we will be on 97.3 The Fan, home of the Padres, which we're very proud to be back over there, which is pretty stoked about it. And we're also going to be back on Tuned In Radio. So I know there's millions and millions of people on Tuned In Radio, and probably almost everybody has Tuned In on their device. So we'll also be on Tuned In, which is super cool too.
That's
and
it.
Thanks, George, that. So that's not this weekend, but starting next Saturday, that's going to happen.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Again, if you want to get through this morning, give us a call. It's 213-432-1090, or keep those texts rolling. Let's Talk Hookup app. When we come back, we're going to be taking those phone calls. Lots of great info coming your way. You stay tuned. You're listening to Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Seasoned long-range fishermen know that the Red Rooster 3 is the finest fishing vessel in terms of technology, design, speed, comfort, and safety. This 105-foot sport fishing yacht meets every demand for comfort while delivering an unforgettable fishing vacation. Captain Andy Cates and crew are experienced, friendly, and sincere in their desire to help you have the trip of a lifetime. Book a trip on the Red Rooster 3, and you'll be back. Trips go fast, so check redrooster3.com or call Lee Palm Sport Fisheries at 619-224-3857.
Hey, San Diego, the Ford Get Holiday Ready sales event is going on now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. The biggest deals of the year to finish 2024, featuring America's best-selling truck, Ford F-Series, leading for 47 straight years. Or check out the full lineup of versatile Ford SUVs, including Bronco or Bronco Sport. Don't wait. Come take a test drive today. Get holiday ready only at your local San Diego County Ford dealers They'll be glad to hook you up.
The lighter the bite and the cleaner the water means one thing. Need a thinner leader, more natural presentations. That's where Seaguar Gold Label leader material shines. It's Seaguar's thinnest leader material yet. That means it's even less visible underwater and creates more natural presentations for better catch rates on leader-shy fish. With exceptional knot and tinsel strength, this advanced leader material is now available from 2-pound test for fishing trout in the Sierra to 80-pound test for big yellowfin in Guadalupe. Get Seaguar Gold Label at your favorite tackle dealer or learn more at seaguar.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning. So much cool stuff to cover this morning with the great fishing going on. And well, you said it best. I just can't believe that it's lasted. It's December. I mean, it's December and it's almost January. It's a week away from January and still fishing to be had.
And the guys, yesterday, the whole round that got out the day after Christmas, which we were part of, we were on a 4-day. There's a few 5 days or 3 days. But yesterday, the weather down below was rough to work in, but they still got back on that kind of looks like now it's kind of the top end of that yellowfin tuna. Still there.
Crazy.
62 degree water.
Crazy.
Now.
62.
62, 61, 62. They're still hanging tough, man.
Yellowfin.
Oh yeah. They've got the table at the anchovy buffet, like the biomass.
What about that bluefin though? Was it kind of mixed in with that yellowfin?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, the yellowfin, the bluefin swept back down. By the way, there's tons and tons of bluefin all the way up to 50 miles south of here now. Like,
wow.
Just more and more, whether it's coming down from up north, which it probably is, and there's fish halfway down, 3/4 of the way down. I mean, there's just
there's so much anchovies around.
Incredible.
How good does that make you feel too about just like the signs of where we're at in our future and upcoming seasons and current seasons, just knowing that we're in such a healthy spot right now?
I'm so appreciative just to be part of this whole cycle. This is a fisherman's dream come true. It's a boat operator's dream come true, but it also, I think we can tip our hat to the fisheries managers in a big way here on the international level and the local level. Like, this is an incredibly healthy fishery. This is an incredibly healthy ocean, probably arguably the healthiest ocean in the world as far as
well managed.
Yeah, the management, the resource, the biomass, from all sides, anywhere from the forage fish all the way up to the apex, top end of it.
Yeah,
it's not a coincidence. Like, this doesn't happen by luck or by chance. That these populations, the biomass of tuna is just off the scale. Yellowtail, wahoo, dorado. I mean, everything that we rely on, it's in really good shape, and thank God for it. What an amazing time to be a fisherman.
Yeah, for sure.
We, like you said, if you started long range fishing when you were back in the 80s, can you believe a guy could say right now it's like this is the best fishing? I'll tell you what. When I was 20 years old, 19 years old, working and just seeing most incredible fishing you could ever imagine, I can't say that I thought, boy, in 35 years, it's going to be better than this. Yeah, right. In 40 years, it's going to be better.
Like Bill Poole used to say, these are the good old days.
Yeah.
Right?
We know now.
Yeah.
This bluefin mixed in, God, it's just
incredible.
The amount.
John Collins sent me a photo. It's the feature photo of the week on our Let's Talk Hookup homepage, letstalkhookup.com. 290-pound bluefin he caught on the RP.
Right on.
So, like John Collins, right?
Come on.
Yeah.
Can't doubt John.
Right. So we left on it was at the beginning of December. We left on that 15-day, and this is the giant yellowfin, go Hurricane Bank, big tuna or bust, and on our way down, we've got the outside punched in. It's going to be the 4-day ride down there, and at the end of the first day, we're outside west of Bonitas. We get a call from one of our colleagues there on the inside. All that big bluefin, or all of it, a big area of that big bluefin showed up way down the coast, out in front of basically Hippolito, Assumption, way the hell down there, and all big ones, right? So 4-day ride or hook a left and
take a little tour.
Let's go check this out. We had 22 fish that day. So limited load of guys. We only had 12 guys in a boat. We had 22 fish, 14 of them over 200 pounds.
Oh my God.
Crazy. crazy.
The rest were like, 160 to 190. They were almost 200 pounders.
Wow.
And the quality of that fish when it showed up on the table,
I'll bet.
you guys, like your mouth was watering. It
Yeah.
was so
Beautiful.
beautiful. The
Like
sheen.
everybody wanted a chunk.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, this guy was taking pictures of it. He was so stoked on it.
and so there's some skepticism, and we had some real aficionados of the product on the boat, and they're like, 12 days in the RSW, really? 12 days? Hey, no problem. I mean, industry standard was 14 days on the commercial side, but I can tell you guys, there aren't very many rigs that can pull that off. The way we handle it, the way we maintain our system.
Well, you guys are the pioneers.
So 13 days in the RSW, and it was absolutely perfect.
Oh, that's
Wow.
so cool to
That
hear.
sounds so good.
Well,
Well, hey,
a picture up my phone just so you can see it.
phones are packing up. 213-432-1090. You want to get through, there's your chance. And we have like dozens of texts like this one here from Dan in Pomona. Good morning. Fish processing is the only way to go. I've heard about flash freezing your catch. Can you talk about the benefits of flash freezing and what it does in preservation and freshness, longevity of the catch? Also, how long will bluefin stay in the freezer with a 5 mil bag? It's a really good question because I've
Great.
seen it firsthand.
Thanks, Dan.
What it
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
So the benefit of the flash freezing, it's just that our freezer, our walk-in freezer will be it'll be at like -10. So, and we put them on aerated bread racks when it's going through. So if you give us one day, we'll have it frozen for you. Again, I'm not frozen like the guy shooting ice at it and freezing it automatically, but give us a day. We'll be able to freeze that fish for you. And the molecules are just smaller. It'll hold it tight. And it's just easier. If you take your freezer at home, your chest freezer, it's already got frozen stuff in there. If you take raw fish and put it in there, it's a hotter temperature, right? So it's less likely to freeze as solidly and to go after it. It's just going to take it longer.
It makes a better product. I can tell
really
you firsthand,
does.
it makes a better product. If you don't think now, will you do this? Will you say, freeze 90% of it and keep 10% of it for me fresh? Can you do that?
So here's what you do. If you want fresh fish, you come get your fresh fish that right away within the first 3 days, and then we'll freeze it for you.
And then you'll freeze the rest.
And go from there. Because what we have found is the way to eliminate error is to keep your entire order together.
I got you.
So we keep your entire order together. You take what you want fresh, then we'll put it in the freezer for you. You pick it up within 14 days, all set.
All good.
And then back to Dan's question, though, I want him to know, like, as long as that vacuum seal is intact in the 5 mil bag in their freezer, we just took out a piece of bluefin from the Ekstrom chest freezer at our house. It was 18 months old. And it was delicious. It was perfect. And it went from there. So I think we've got a new form of bomb shelter food for you guys. As long as you keep that vacuum seal intact, that's the key.
Firsthand information about experiencing how the flash freezing works. I picked up a load this year that I forgot to say, hey, freeze it for me. So I took it back to my chest freezer. I put it in, and it wasn't a giant load. I mean, it was, a few fish. Put it in there. The next day I went in there, the ones in the middle were still not frozen yet. So it makes a big difference.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
And then you put it in, and that if you have water in it, they stick together. And so it's way better to have
outside
Fisherman's
of the package.
processing flash freezer for you, right?
I was just going to say, I was the same thing. Like my thoughts are always like, oh yeah, I want same day. I'm going to eat this. I'm going to share all this. And like the reality is, at least for me, is you're back and then you're dealing with life and gear and putting things away. And next thing you know, 2 days have gone by and then you're trying to put it in the freezer and then you're trying to catch up with the rest of it. I get everything frozen now because that perfect product, perfectly frozen, that then thawed out it's every bit as good as it being fresh anyway. It's just, and you said it best. You guys have the capacity to make that frozen fish so much better than we do at home.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the work that we've done in the freezer. And I got to thank my husband. He was a big part of it. I worked in retail and we had freezers at Target and different places. So I had the organization standpoint, but the physical labor, like this guy was in there humping 50-pound bread racks, putting them in, organizing them. We keep them in chronological order. We have a cold zone that we put as extra cold zone for the people that want it frozen, pick up the next day. I'm just so stoked that we're able to get that order to the customer in the manner that they want it. So
pretty
it's
amazing.
Really great.
That is, as far as the flash freezing, that's a term we're using. It's probably, obviously depending on the size pieces. I mean, small pieces, they'll freeze in a couple hours, but bigger pieces, let's say you got 150-pound bluefin, they're big chunks. It's going to take like 6 or 8 hours, 10 hours for it to be like a brick. But that's the big difference. That freezer in there, it's like a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
There's what, 10, 16 big fans, big evaporator fans that are fans in the evaporators that really generate some velocity. So there are some perfect cold zones. We have those orders like freeze overnight.
Yeah. You got it.
Oh yeah. I know where everyone is. Exactly.
Well, hey, let's jump into the phones. 213-432-1090 open right now. You want to get through, there's your chance.
Let's talk to Alex. He's called us from San Carlos this morning. Good morning, Alex. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hope everybody had a really good Christmas. I just had a question on processing. I got a buddy that wants to come down from Northern California to see if we can go on like Mocha but he's asking me what the usual turnaround time would be and if you guys have options for shipping the harvest over.
Great question.
Yeah. So the fastest turnaround, again, it really comes down to us meeting about if he's just doing a day trip. I have to be honest, we're not staffed for the evening pickups to go after it. But I know the other processors can do that for him and have it ready. I think the next day. You'd have to double check with them. But if we pick it up in the morning from you, depending on how many other customers are there, once we get it on the table, it's about a 2-hour turnaround. So we get it through the table, get it vacuum sealed. It's about 2 hours from start to finish. But again, that depends on how much fish you bring me. Sure. So if you bring me 40 to 50 fish from a long range trip, it's going to take us a while to get through it. But if you're just going on a short range trip and you're bringing in, I don't know, six fish, 6 to 10 fish, 2 hours, I feel really safe letting you know that from the time that it hits the table and the cutters get through it.
And what about the potential of shipping back home?
We another one of the massive improvements that we made over this last year, and I have to give Catherine and Crystal, who's working the back packing up shipping on the daily, tons of credit. We literally are able to ship. We are not a shipping company.
Right.
We are a processing company, but we will get it processed and have it ready. And then we get it to the carrier for you. And the carriers that we use are FedEx, which will go door to door. Then we also use Southwest Air Cargo, which is really convenient. And then you pick it up at the airport, as well as we use Alaska Air Cargo. So those are the three carriers, and it's as long as there's an airport near you, or the most expensive route is FedEx, but it will get right to your home. We'll go from there.
But it's considerably less expensive if you do the air cargo.
It is. And we try to, everybody wants to know an estimate of how much it's going to be, and sadly we just don't have it because we're not a carrier, and the rates will fluctuate from like if I did a quote for a FedEx quote today for you, Pete, and I'm going to send it to Idaho tomorrow morning. If you say, oh yeah, let's go for it, then I put it back in FedEx, the price changes. So it's so ridiculous. Yeah. Like just between fuel
shipping
prices and all the other things that go in there.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the airlines with Alaska and with Southwest, they do have a chart on their website, on their cargo website, which will kind of explain it to you. There's no markup from us as far as like what the carrier charges. That just is direct to the customer. And it's real similar to what you would pay if you actually had extra luggage going on. Yeah. So like if you got your 2 bags for free and then you had to pay for more luggage to go on there, it's about the same price.
That's the same price. So if do you guys take it to the airport, or does the customer take it to the airport?
No, we take it. Well,
you take it.
So there's a couple different options. So that's if you want it shipped and you've left, what we do is we get it frozen for you, we get it packed up, and then we'll take it down to the airport. We come back, we give you your air bill number, and we send it in next flight guaranteed, so that the next flight that'll get it to that airport, you'll be able to go onto their website, pull up your air bill number, and track your shipment and be able to go down and pick it up.
That's an awesome service.
That's a great service.
Yeah, so it's pretty incredible.
That is, totally.
For sure.
Or you can do box for flight. So if you're leaving that day, you're part of that same day. Obviously, I can't get it frozen for you because I don't have freezing powers, right. But we can get it packed up for you and just do a 50-pound box, and you can carry it on with you, or just check it. And that way you can take your catch with you.
I love it. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way on the Let's Talk Hookup app, the 1090 AM, Facebook, and YouTube Live.
It may be winter in Southern California, but those of us who live here know it's a great time of year to go fishing, and certainly not time to put your gear.
Hey, Pete, just wanted to let you know. We have a live read right after this promo.
Roger.
Beverages, and more. This is the ideal time for bay bass fishing, and I get the inside scoop from Johnny. Heck, he will even rent you one of our killer blue skiffs. This is also a good time to go work on your reels, and Doug is the man for that job. If big largemouth bass are your bag, nothing beats East County Bait and Tackle. They have all the right stuff and live bait for a perfect day on the lake. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is super cool too, for both freshwater and saltwater tackle. ECBT is at the end of the 67 freeway on Mapleview and Lakeside. Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle is on Broadway in Lemon Grove, and Dana Landing is next to the Dana Launch Ramp in Mission Bay. Check danalanding.com for more details.
Hey, it's time to talk about great gear from Shimano. And I got to tell you, when it comes to talking about catching big tuna, Tim.
Talica 50.
Yeah,
man, no doubt.
I'm telling
right?
you, I had the pleasure again last trip of witnessing the power of the winch. That's what we call that.
Yeah.
What an incredible piece of gear.
Dude, it's
my
unfair.
gosh. It's just
Especially with
unfair.
that big sardine. I mean, pin that big sardine on a Talica 50, it's like game over,
big
right?
sardine, kite bait. What I know the one I'm thinking of was a kite bait. I mean, that thing just what an incredible example of perfection. I mean, the thing, the balance of it,
Right.
the handle, the throw when you turn, it's just everything about that thing. What an incredible piece of equipment.
The design went taller and skinnier instead of shorter and wider, so the reel doesn't wobble back and forth, and you're not fighting the gear, and that huge handle that you can really get your hand around and all the power.
And
But
it's a
then-
fraction of the weight of like a
Old school 50 wide.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
great,
Out, man.
yeah, exactly.
Spool weighs way less, so your bait
Yeah.
can swim line off the reel more efficiently. It's the one for big fish.
It's a
Amen.
tractor, the Talica 50 at your local Shimano dealer.
Offshore fishing is on. Hi, this is Doug Kern from Fisherman's Landing Tackle, the saltwater tackle professionals. For bluefin tuna and yellowtail, nothing beats the Shimano Talica, the pinnacle of lever drag 2-speed reels. Shimano Speedmaster 2 is also an extremely durable, high-performance lever drag reel for the more budget-minded angler. Both the Talica and Speedmaster 2 feature Shimano's Hagani body to prevent misalignment of moving parts under the heaviest of load. For all your Shimano, visit us at Fisherman's Landing Tackle at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego.
Captain Jamie Tennis from Season Sport Fishing here. For the past few seasons, a dart-style metal jig has come into play in a big way for tuna offshore or even rockfish down deep. AFCO's crossbreed jig has quickly become the go-to for many since it came onto the market. AFCO's crossbreed jig is good to go right out of the package with a 4X treble hook, heavy-duty split rings, West Coast colors, and size
Hey
of
guys,
60
come back.
gram to
Stand
120
by.
gram. Pick one up today at your local tackle store or learn more on AFCO.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing. Phones are packed, texts are packed. What a great show.
Yeah, for sure. And you have a great text, huh?
I thought so. I'm very curious to hear, especially both the opinion of Tim and Merrilee. It says, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hearing Tim talk about yellowfin is getting me so fired up. I'm sure you guys have both eaten plenty of that and the bluefin as of recent. My question is, how do you feel the two compare to each other on the plate? I'm more of a yellowfin guy over bluefin, but I know that doesn't seem to be the standard on most. Thanks. I can't wait till next summer. Got my trip on the store already booked. That's from Rory and Lakeside.
Wow. Boy, we could. I'll tell you what. So if you're going to eat the fish raw, sashimi, clearly the bluefin is the king, or the queen of tunas, especially that Toro, that belly portion. Yellowfin just don't have that. They don't have that fat content. Bluefin is considerably, it's more rich. It has a higher fat content. So, I think that if you did the Pepsi challenge with them, here's the caveat. That yellowfin this year, in years past when we had access out of Guadalupe, that yellowfin out there was a different animal, like the fat content of it. But this year, that yellowfin that's been all along what I'll call the beach has been just gorging itself on those anchovies, all that fin fish, and the fat content of that yellowfin this year has just been unbelievable.
Really?
It's so good. I'm probably a 70-30 bluefin to yellowfin guy, but that's my, that's over a lot of years.
Sure.
If I had the choice, I'd probably go, to eat raw, for sure, bluefin. To eat cooked, 70-30 bluefin, yellowfin. But again, that's me.
Merrilee, what about you?
I'm 60-40.
60-40. Bluefin over yellowfin?
Bluefin over yellowfin. Yeah.
Really?
And I'm pampered like this guy when he's home. I don't even cook it for myself.
Yeah.
I'll slice up some sashimi for myself if I'm home alone. But
if you're slicing up sashimi, it's bluefin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you are putting heat to it, how is it done? What's the favorite at the Ekstrom household? Like I'm with you. Like we're more of a sashimi, a poke, a seared thing. But if you are going to put some heat to it, what's the favorite family recipe?
It's the sear for sure. And don't, you don't need to overdo it. You don't need to put a bunch of spice, a little salt and pepper, olive oil, done. And you just flash it. I'm thinking
it's
about
so
that
good
yellow
for
we just had.
My mouth is watering.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's the
God,
thing. You'd say 70-30, but like as always, there are standouts where it's like you have a piece of yellowfin that was caught at this place that was eating that thing where it's just like
I was going to say there, like each fish is different.
Like how does it get better than this? You know what I mean? Like there's pieces that you eat. You're like, well, this has got to change the scale because how does something get better than this?
We had at this trip, we've been gorging ourselves on that just delicious, super fatty yellowfin, and then we went down below out there at the bank and caught that fish, and beautiful, but it's super lean down there. It's a totally different fish to eat. It obviously it's delicious, but it's just far more lean, and if you put the two side by each, you wouldn't even believe they were both yellowfin tuna.
Wow, pretty amazing.
And I would throw it out there, like we've got some incredible rubs at the shop that work. I know that you and your wife love our poke mix and what's going on with it. And the sesame and spice is amazing for searing it the way we were doing it. If you just do it tataki style, roll it in that, and then a little soy, come on.
Sesame and spice.
I get me fired up.
I know.
So how do you do it? So this is now what you're talking about are the spices and rubs that you have at Fisherman's Processing.
Yes, exactly.
So sesame spice, you just
you actually
wet
have your
it,
fillet. You just have your fillet. Just roll it in there. You could put a little olive oil if you wanted to, but it's not necessary. Just roll the fish in that, then grill it. Do it tataki style. Roll it around and then slice. Oh, come on, it's so
that
good.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, and then we do the same thing. We actually, it's kind of crazy because everybody wants to know how to cook it when they come through. So we love jambalaya. I don't know if you guys do, but we're big fans at our house. So Tim had caught some wahoo, and we went home. We did a bed of spinach. Then we did jambalaya with a nice mix of some shrimp and some andouille and some other things. And then Tim took our blackening seasoning and blackened wahoo, and we put a fillet of blackened wahoo on top of that. And
Chef
that
Tim
sounds all time.
Are you going down in the wheelhouse?
It was memorable.
What?
Celebrity chef.
Hey, I'll give my son some props too. He cooks mean.
No kidding.
You can get down on the grill.
Yeah.
I like
Chip
it.
off the old block. Let's jump back in the phones, Rick.
How about we talk to Ryan? He's calling us from Irvine this morning. Ryan, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on Let's Talk Hookup.
Good morning, gentlemen. I got a question for Kat and Tim. You're trolling. Let's say that you're trolling for wahoo, right? You get a jig strike. What's the first thing you do? You'd grab a bait rod or jig rod, and where do you crash the boat? Up on the stern, up on the bow?
I grab a jig for sure, and your choice whether you want to use a bomb or a lure type jig, but for sure. And wherever you cast it, just make sure you cast it perpendicular to the rail. You cast it straight off. You don't want to be back there dropping it right in the middle of the wake with the trolling fish and everybody else who did it wrong. You want to cast it off to the side. That way, again, the boat's sliding forward. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of times wahoo fishing where, we'll see them scattered out on the sonar out in front of us. They don't, typically wahoo, they don't gather up in a tight school. They're scattered out over an area. So we see it a lot of times where, they're 200, 300, 400 feet still out off the bow, individuals here, individuals there. We get a strike in the back. All that fish is available up there. It's actually a really good trick to go up the side or even all the way up to the bow and cast out up there. You're not missing out. It's not like all the fish are back there where the jig strike happened. There's plenty more. So that's the best advice I could give you. Go up forward or at least cast off the side.
One thing you taught us both, I know Pete and I, we've had the luxury, the privilege of getting to fish wahoo with you a bunch of times, was to not be afraid of really letting your jig or bomb or whatever it is really sink out a ways too. People, I think, get so fired up and wanting to wind that thing like it's a popper. let that thing get down a ways, and there's plenty of bites to be had winding up at a 45-degree angle.
I think it's better, way better. Yeah, if you're skimming across the surface, I mean, you get a few bites there, but you're presenting it to a lot more fish coming up, through the water column again at least 30 or 45 degrees for sure.
For sure. Hey, I have a great text here from Tom, and he's up in Northern California. Excuse me there. Good morning, guys. I've always used Fisherman's processing since starting long-range trips, and I'm always amazed at the speed and quality of their processing work. Kudos to the entire team.
Well, thanks, Tom.
That
means a lot. Yeah, means a lot. And our goal, again, is to give table-ready product. There are people that haven't used us in the past, and there'll be comments about yield or this and that. And like, there are points where our yield might be a little smaller because we want you to be able to open that package and eat it.
Yeah.
Like take it right home and go after it. So it's table ready for you.
That's my favorite here. And somebody say, well, if I cut it at home, I'd get X amount of percent. Like, well, you would, but it sure wouldn't look like that. You'd have a bunch of little triangle tail pieces and
a whole lot
blood
of garbage
lines and everything else. Like when you show up at Fisherman's Processing and somebody greets you and rolls out that bread rack of just the most premium product, you can't buy it. Like you can't go to a store and get something that looks that good, that's that fresh. It's such a unique thing that you guys get to do.
Yeah, not without paying an arm and a leg.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, the yield, it's a whole topic in itself, but I think you can expect about an average yield of about 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends the size of the fish. There's some variables in there, but a few things that will really impact the yield. Number one, the quality of the fish that we get from the boat. You know what I mean? Like
I'm sure
we can only turn out a product as good as what we bring in the door. And that does have a big impact on the yield. Sometimes we get fish that if maybe it was a hot bite, maybe the fish got kind of soft or it stayed soft in the well, and the boys on the line, they're doing their best to make the most out of something that really isn't all that great of quality. And there's going to be more trimming that's necessary. That soft stuff that's mushy on the sides and the end. And, you go to cut off the red meat and more comes off. So that's going to impact the yield big time. Also, gaff holes. Gaff holes make a big difference, man. You can't believe it. And I know this because I've been on the line plenty myself. I'll jump in there with the boys and hack up a few fish. And you think, okay, you get your 40-pound yellowfin and it just gets gaffed in the back. It happens, some thing darts away, whatever, or nighttime fishing bluefin, for example. That sometimes you just got to go.
Get one in them.
Yeah, I've lived in every seat, so I know how it happens. I'm not being critical of the guys gaffing the fish in the back. Sometimes it just happens. Well, you lay that 40-pounder out you harvest 4 loins off that fish. Well, one of the loins, say it's in the back. I mean, you would be amazed how one gaff hole in that top loin, it compromises a third of it.
Wow. No
because
kidding.
the blood
kind of
it
the trauma that
it infuses into the rest of it. And you're not going to eat that,
right?
Man. It's nasty.
That's not a Fisherman's Processing piece.
It's not anybody's piece. Well, it's a piece for the cat, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it gets messed up. So you have to trim that out of there. And you'd be surprised at, we get so let's say it's 6 yellowtail, 5 tuna, and a dorado that comes across the line. Well, if 4 or 5 of those have gaff holes that are in the loins, the back, it's going to impact the end yield. It's just going to, and that's not something that we have.
That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, that's not something we have control over. So, the boys know we do our very best to produce as much as possible and save as much as possible. But, it just does impact the yield.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you have a great text.
I thought so. It says, good morning, guys. What a great show already so far. We talked so much about the processing, and I know Captain Tim is famous for it. Can you explain how RSW system works? I hear the term all the time, but I'm not aware of the inner workings.
It's just refrigerated seawater that's in the tanks. Now, without getting way deep in the weeds, ideally, the best system. And I can say that we have this system on board Royal Star. Ideally, you can maintain that temperature at like 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Remember, seawater doesn't freeze till 28 due to the salt content. So if you can get that product down to 29 or 30 degrees and hold it there, not so the temperature doesn't fluctuate. You don't want to have, you add a whole bunch of fish and the temperature comes way up and it takes a while for it to pull back down. If you can maintain that temperature,
that's key. Huh?
That is absolutely key. And
how do you do that?
how we have our system set up, there's a couple ways to do it. How we have our system set up, we can actually throttle back the amount of refrigerant going to each individual tank. So we get it to 30 degrees and we just squeeze off the amount of refrigerant going to that tank to where it holds at 30 degrees.
Yeah.
A lot of the other guys, how their systems work, they add salt to their tanks to keep ice from forming in the coil, the evaporator, and that's another way to control it. And they cycle it on a thermostat. It goes to say 30, and the machine shuts off, goes back up to 34, kicks back on. They hold it in a range doing that. That's probably that is the biggest difference between how we hold the fish. But you guys would be amazed at the difference, especially over time. If you're talking 7 days or more, 5 days or more, the difference in a product that's held at 30 as opposed to a product that's held at 32 or 33. It's
big difference.
Yeah, it's huge.
All right. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming here, including checking in with the catch report, more of your phone calls and texts as well. You stay tuned. You're listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
I've had the opportunity to fish many places in many different types of water, but never have I fished a place as much fun as Katmai Lodge in Alaska. Hello, my name is Harold Davis, typically fishing in the ocean, but this is an experience that you have to try for yourself. Fish natural rivers with tens of thousands of fish coming up, and they have all the gear: spinning, bait casting, fly rods, kings, silvers, pinks, sockeyes, and my favorite, the chums. Outstanding food, outstanding accommodations, great service. The lodge is located in the beautiful Katmai National Park, filled with amazing wildlife. Brown bears, moose, eagles, otters, and it has spectacular scenery. And also the fact that the lodge is located right on the Alagnak River, and your boat is just...
Fish is frozen.
Hey, Pete.
Because they add salt.
Oh, you're getting asked down the line for that, Pete.
Sorry.
Danny's asking.
What did he say? What did he say? I don't hear it.
You just said Pete. He was just looking for you.
Oh.
Yeah, I just said your name. Sorry. Mark is calling in with the fishing report. Can you guys hear me? Hey, Pete?
Sports Grid Radio Network is the premier audio streaming channel dedicated to serving the mass.
Hey, Pete, can you hear me?
Yeah, Roger.
Oh, okay. I just want to let you know Mark is calling in with the fishing report.
Thank you.
Okay.
All the games, as well as the most in-depth pregame previews from hosts like Scott Farrell, Donnie Rightside, Ben Stevens, Gabe Morency, and many more. To find out where you can listen to Sports Grid, go to sportsgridradio.com. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Sport fishing, not just for dad anymore, thanks to the Dana Wharf's Kids Club. Dana Wharf Sport Fishing invites all anglers 12 and under to join the Kids Club today. Membership includes over $100 of really cool stuff, like 2 free fishing trips, whale watch trip, as well as a free Dana Wharf Kids Club hat or t-shirt. Log on to the website, danawharf.com, or visit them in Dana Point Harbor, the bass capital of the West, and only minutes from the 5 freeway in Orange County.
Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Catine, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code and save $30 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
Now it's time for more of Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. Get ready for more of the best fishing information and the hottest tips on improving your angling skills. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup. Shimano rods and reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. And now, Southern California's sports fishing voice, the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Let's Talk Hookup, right here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, YouTube, Facebook Live, 1090 AM. Pete Gray here. Along with Rock Cod Rick Maxa, we have the Ekstroms in town. Tim and Merrilee Ekstrom from the Royal Star and Fisherman's Processing. Super fun. I think Fisherman's Processing questions are outnumbering Royal Star questions. What's that all about, huh? Yeah? Huh?
Shop.
I wouldn't have guessed that start the show. And you're right. Going through the text, it's so much,
Everybody wants to know about their fish.
No doubt, man.
Yeah. It's important to people.
As it should be.
Yeah.
As it should be.
For sure. Well, we're having a great time talking fishing here and talking fish reports.
Yeah, it's been a very busy morning, too. If you want to join us this morning, we would love to hear from you. We've had the phones were full, completely packed, solid, but we did have somebody drop off during the break. So there's an open phone line right now, an opportunity to get through on the phones. That's 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090 is how you reach us on the phone. Or, again, keep those texts coming through the Let's Talk Hookup app. The only way to send in your text questions is through the app. Make sure you include your contact info as well in case you win that big prize. Again, one lucky caller or texter is going to be fishing on a trip on board the Liberty. We're giving away a full-day trip at the end of today's show. Very cool. Pete, as you mentioned, it's time for the Catch Report. Today, our Catch Report sponsored in part by Dana Landing on Mission Bay, your one-stop shop for everything you need to go fishing. They have a complete deli with beverages, boating supplies, snacks, and more, and San Diego's most complete saltwater tackle shop. Also, check out East County Bait and Tackle and Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle with all of the great freshwater and saltwater tackle along with live bait. Dana Landing is right next to the Dana Lawn Tramp in Mission Bay. ECBT, they're at the end of the 67 freeway at Mapleview and Lakeside. And Lemon Grove Bait and Tackle, they're on Broadway in Lemon Grove. Check danalanding.com for more info all the way around. And we got him standing by, our private boater buddy, Captain Mark Wish of Pacific Edge is on the line. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, Ricky, Pete, Tim, Merrilee. Great show today. So much good info. You guys just do a fantastic job there. And so for my last report of 2024, I wish I had some breaking news of worthy import. No wide open yellowfin tuna up here. But it's just not happened, with a very few exceptions. So standard fare has just been the bottom fishing. There are some biglings being caught on mackerels and sand dabs for the guys that know how to fish that deep structure, and a lot of reds and groupers and miscellaneous cod just about everywhere on that deeper hard bottom. But it's almost over, guys. Closes on January 1st through April 1st. Those cods get a really nice break. I miss my deep fried red snappers for sure. But, they're going to get a break. So you can keep a sculpin or a whitefish, sand bass, calico bass like that, but no more cods after the New Year's. It's going to be over. And what took up the slack last year, pretty nicely actually, was some really good local halibut fishing. Now, I haven't seen it get started going yet. There's been a few, but soon coming when a little more pressure is put on it because that other stuff is closed. And or at Catalina, now those halibuts over there have been biting pretty steadily, and since the late fall actually, and a lot of it is up shallow. But let me remind you guys, you've all heard of this big swell we've had along the coast the past week or so, and sadly there's been a couple tragedies. But along with just that regular swell, you get those occasional rogue waves, and I mean, it really happens for sure. So I'd stay out of the shallows till this swell event passes, and then after that, just go for it. But something to be aware of. Catalina's also got squid almost everywhere right now, bunch down east, bunch up west, and mixed in with it has been a sprinkle of sea bass, not a lot, but a little bit here and there. Backside east and backside west have both had some fish. So something to look forward to in 2025. We're going to be staying right on top of it here with our fish reports. So I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you all get out there and catch a bunch of fish. And then, Pete, next year, this report's going to be at a different time.
That's correct.
Than the last 30 years, right?
That is correct, Mark. We will start your report at 7:45. Starting next Saturday, you'll hear Mark Wish and Marcos at 7:45 So just tune in for that. And of course, we'll be broadcasting live on the Fan, of course, live on YouTube, Facebook, and live on our Let's Talk Hookup app. So wait for that. And Mark, I'll get you that new phone number this week, and we'll talk to you 7:45 next Saturday.
That's going to be hard to get used to after, 30 years at this time frame?
It's only
Whatever.
15 minutes, Mark. It's all right, man. It won't hurt you. You can pull it off. Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks,
Yeah.
Mark. Thanks for all your great reports for 2024, and we're looking for a whole bunch more at the new time, 7:45 in 2025. And of course, don't forget fishdope.com. Get your membership there. $30 off a new membership to fishdope.com using the code hookup now, or lowercase, no space. Hookup now, your $30 code. And where do we find you, Mark?
Pete, we're in Huntington Beach. We're on the corner of Bolsa Chica and Edinger by the big Chevron station. And the phone number is area code 714-840-4262. And the website is pacificedgetackle.com. And you probably want to call first for the next few days because we've got kind of a relaxed schedule here until the
Taking
end
a
of
little
the year.
time off, eh?
We're taking a little time off.
That
I
away.
mean,
Good for you. All right, Mark. Hey, Happy New Year to you, and we'll talk to you next year at 7:45.
Okay, you got it, guys. Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that very much. While we're waiting for Marcos from C4 to get on the line, I had another great text come through. It says, morning, Tim and Merrilee. Us fishermen that fish a lot would love the possibility of some sort of date on the packaging. Has that ever been something that was thought of, whether it be sticker or stamp? Is that possible? Absolutely love Fisherman's processing, but also love to utilize the older stuff in my freezer first. Appreciate everything you guys do. That's from Eric Sheets from Fallbrook.
Ah, Eric.
Troublemaker.
I love Eric Sheets. You know what? It's definitely been discussed with the capacity and the volume that we're going through. We're just not able to do date stamps that are going through. It's just it would slow down really our capacity at this point. So there are blank stickers. We work with a sticker company called Leapin' Lizards. And you could easily get a blank sticker and then put your own date on it when you go through. Just you can just order blanks.
Do you sell
of the same.
some blank stickers? Or
I
no? You
don't,
sell
but
them.
I could.
But you could.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to date their own, buy a whole row of blank stickers, they could buy.
I'll figure it
some
out.
from
Yeah, exactly.
Milwaukee.
Exactly.
That's a great suggestion, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you,
And
Eric.
you know, Eric, it's something that we talk about quite a bit with the customers, but from our workload and where we're at, we're not at a capacity standpoint where we could pull that off, but happy to help with stickers.
And we have to, one of the challenges of that day is we have to put the stickers on when the bag is dry and not cold.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that's hard.
Yeah. So, we
And
all
then
the
how do
bags
we
are
predict how many bags we're going to need
Right,
with today's
sure.
date on it? And but it's a great call. So it's definitely something we can look at having blanks out there.
Yeah.
Milwaukee makes a it's a Sharpie, but it's like for the construction industry that works really good, or works averagely good when something is still damp, better than something else. And that's what we always use. I just got one hanging on my freezer.
Oh, no
We
kidding.
do the same thing with beef or whatever, and just big Sharpie mark. This is what it is.
And it's a Milwaukee product.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
Thanks,
a bunch
Keith.
of other exactly. That's exactly it. It looks like a Sawzall. It's called the Marks All. But
No kidding.
it's just so you like. It's a Sharpie that
That'd be a great
can
thing
write
to
on stucco or concrete or wood or
Yeah,
whatever else.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it works pretty good. It works a lot better on a damp bag than something else does. Probably not the right thing for it, but
Might
it works
be a
pretty
product
good.
you need in the tackle shop.
I don't like the idea of my guys having unlimited Sharpies available. You never know.
I have to keep ours under in a special cabinet
They'll
in our
all-
place
they
too.
all go away.
Yeah.
Hey, San Diego Anglers presenting Vicky Shark Vasquez, a marine biologist, as seen on Shark Week on Saturday, January 8th, whenever day that is. I think it's a Thursday. Doors open at 6. Meeting starts at 7. It's at Portuguese Hall right here in Shelter Island. And you've probably seen her on Shark Week, but she's a shark expert. So really cool meeting, and it's going to be really super interesting. San Diego Anglers, January 8th. Doors open at 6, again at 7, and meeting starts at 7 at Portuguese Hall. It's free as usual for the San Diego Anglers, and want to thank them for all their hospitality and stuff that they show anglers throughout. Right.
Yeah, the very best, man. No doubt about it. Always putting very cool speakers together, and they keep their meetings open to the public. They're just, awesome group of people, no doubt.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and jump back on the phone.
You got it. Well, while we're waiting, why don't we talk to Rich? Rich is calling us from Bradley this morning. Good morning, Rich. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Yeah, good morning and Happy New Year, guys. And I second that motion on the Milwaukee Sharpies. I liked them so much, I bought the value pack, and I could only find them at Home Depot. So if you're looking for them, that should help folks.
Good tip.
I've got a question about fish processing. And there's times when I've been like on the road and I have to bring my own food saver to get the job done because I'm just a little too far away from Fisherman's processing. Like if I go up north and try to chase down salmon in Oregon or something, and I want to bring home a good quality product. And I'm hoping maybe from some of the things that you've learned from trial and error that you could give us maybe a few tips on doing it just a little bit better. Because sometimes I get it right and sometimes they fail, and I get it out of the freezer and it's a disappointment. Other times it works just fine. So maybe you could give us a little inside baseball from what you learned the hard way.
Well, I mean, from what you're telling me, I think going back to what we said earlier about making sure, for us, the most important thing is a seal on that bag. And you just have to get that thing dry and clean in order for it to be a rock solid seal. And your vacuum has to be, at least at 98 to 99% in order for it to really, really hold. You got to get all of that air out of it, like everything. Even if you look at that bag and you can see little micro bubbles, I was taught this by our guy who works with our machines. If you really look at it closely, you see those little micro bubbles. That's gonna
cut it open and start again.
Yeah, you got to start over again.
And we do that frequently, because we just want to make sure it's the best product. Perfect, if you notice anything in the parking lot, we'll take it in and reseal it right away, because those micro bubbles, that's going to give you freezer burn.
That's the difference between his food saver sealer and like the big giant chamber sealers that you guys have. That is the difference.
So those little, I'm talking little micro bubbles. It looks like fizz almost. There's a little bit of me if you see them in there, and that's where that little freezer it starts and it expands. After it sits in the freezer there for 3-4 months, you'll see it blow up and turn into a big freezer burn spot. So that's about the best advice I can give you.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Hey, thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate that. That does free up a line at 213-432-1090 open right now. I have a great text. Now, it's a little long, and I normally wouldn't read it, but it's a really good text, and it's from Chris in Queen Creek, Arizona.
All right.
And, so good morning, guys. I can't say enough good things about Merrilee and Tim at Fisherman's Processing. I live in Queen Creek, Arizona, which is the southeast corner of Phoenix metro area here in Arizona. I had a trip on the New Luan in July and Captain Adam, and it was a charter through Phoenix Fishing Supply, and I was advised to call Fisherman's Processing a week in advance to set up a reservation, which is always something you should do. I will add there. There were 3 of us traveling together, and it was our first trip for these guys. However, we came back with only 1 fish between the 3 of us, but they were able to take deposits from the other 2 reservations and roll it into the processing fee for this 150-pound bluefin tuna, which is a point. This has lots of points, which is a point that you said. When you make that deposit, if you don't catch a fish or something else, you get it back, or you don't roll into something else or whatever.
It's your money. You can use it.
You don't lose it.
No,
it's not like an airline.
The only time you would lose that deposit is if you chose to go to another processor.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like if you choose another processor.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Thank you.
A penalty.
It's a penalty. And then I want to know why you chose them.
Yeah.
Because my goal is not to take your deposit. My goal is to process your fish.
Absolutely. Yeah. So he says, but what's more impressive when we went to breakfast across the street, which sadly we can't do that anymore. By the time we were finished with breakfast, we got the phone call saying our fish was ready. Fast, amazing, professional. Packaging was superb, and impressed with those guys.
Oh, thank you so much.
So
that means the world.
I thought that had lots of good points in it, and like I say, a lot longer than normally we'd read on the show, but there's lots of things to take from that.
Yeah, and I think to his point, he was advised a week before. That could have been when he made his reservation. I recommend everybody make your reservation as soon as you secure that you're going on a trip.
Yep.
Give us a call.
Totally.
Because especially in the height of the season, I can't tell you, we hit capacity. I would love to help everybody. want to be able to take care of the fish the right way. So if you make a reservation for a boat trip, please call us or get online and make your reservation, put your deposit down.
It's really a good opportunity to make the point about the reservation thing. Like what was the purpose of that? The purpose was to make the whole processing experience better for the customer. It enables us to staff accordingly, plan accordingly. There's those variables, of course, we never know. We don't know what the fishing is going to be like. There's no way you can predict that. However, if you make your reservation in advance, one thing you're 100% assured of is that your catch is going to be processed by us. You do not have to have a reservation to use Fisherman's processing service, but we cannot recommend it highly enough. Right. Make your reservation. That way you're assured that your product is going to be processed. And again, it enables us to staff accordingly. That's probably the biggest thing. And, if for example, if we only have 10 reservations on the book, well, we're not going to have 30 guys back there, ramped up, ready to go. But if we have 30 reservations or 40 reservations, we're
all hands on deck.
Yeah, we're going to throw everything we have on it.
It's a good business practice for you guys to do that, because what was happening before, people would make reservations at all the processors, and then everybody would get screwed except one processor.
Yeah, well, they choose the shortest line.
Yeah.
And I get it. I that's smart customer game the system, but that doesn't benefit.
But it penalizes everybody else that couldn't get a reservation because somebody else took.
They got turned away.
Exactly right.
So it's just a better business practice.
Yeah.
The other thing is the dynamic of our length of trips has just changed. There is such good fishing in shorter range. You go back 5, 6, 7 years ago, and there was a lot more 5 and 7 and 8 day trips, which means that boat made it to the dock every 5 to 7 to 8 days. Now there's such tremendous fishing in the 3 and 4 day range, which just means the opportunity for another boat to be coming in at the same day of yours, it's just increased. There's a lot more boats that hit the dock a lot more often than they did in the old days.
Right. And guys, again, on the reservation thing, you want to talk about reservation. Oh, I got to pay $100. And if that dissuades somebody from, that's fine. But I'm here to tell you I don't quite know how to vocalize the panic that we've heard people express when all of a sudden,
oh man,
we're full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And that guy over there, he's full too.
Yeah.
And that guy over there, he's full. And my guy is sitting there with 6 or 8 fish on the sidewalk going, what?
Now what do I do?
Yeah. I can't have it. And all the processors are like, hey, I wish you
would have made a reservation.
I wish you would have made a reservation.
Yeah.
I'd do anything I can to help you, but today we do not have the capacity. So there's
the ice house right there.
I don't have another tote.
Yeah.
I literally don't
make
have
the
room.
reservation. It is so worth it. And like Merrilee said, it's 100% refundable. We're gonna refund it. We're gonna
and if your fish processing is $80, you're gonna get $20 back.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. That's the other thing. It goes towards the processing bill. Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me mention another thing about the reservation also, because we've had multiple anglers and there's been some discussion about this. Okay, I'm a regular long range angler, and I book 3 trips right for the year. I book a 4-day in July, a 7-day in September, and a 15-day in the wintertime. You need a reservation for every trip.
Sure,
that's 3 different reservations. Yeah, there's been
just like it's 3 different trips.
There cannot
3
be
different reservations.
There cannot be confusion on that. There cannot be.
And the other thing too, another thing that's a confusion.
There cannot be. That's not a confusion.
So
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So. But if there's 3 guys in one group, okay, the guy from Arizona there were 3 of them in one group. You need 3 reservations.
Thanks for saying that, Pete. I was going to add that. Yeah, you can't call me up and say, okay, I want 1 reservation. It's for 6 of us.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then you're paying for 6 people, and I've got to staff differently for 6 anglers hitting limits than 1 person hitting limits.
Yeah.
So if you're paying for all 6 people, it's going to be 6 tag numbers. That's totally fine. But I need to know it in advance so that I staff appropriately.
Yes.
Because it's way different if I just have Pete, but I've got Pete and his Let's Talk Hookup charter. That's a little different.
Gotcha. Tim, I have a fishing question. This being the second to the last show of 2024. Let's make some forecasts for 2025. What do you think?
That's something that everybody loves to do.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly how good my trip's going to be.
What are we going to catch in 2025 based on I mean, things are changing right now. This is a very different year than last year, and the year before was a very different.
I have
year.
a prediction.
You do?
Fish.
Okay.
They're going to
Fish.
catch
We're
fish.
gonna catch fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
lot
In
of
the
them.
ocean.
A lot of
them. There's a lot of colder water this year. There's
Yeah.
definitely a very different cycle, and we talked about it when I was on the show last. It's this pervasive downhill current, this California current, and seeing all this bluefin pushing as far south as it is, I confidently predict that we're still going to be catching bluefin, and there's going to be a lot of that available. The real question is, how is this yellowfin tuna thing going to shake out, especially a few years down the line? Because while we saw just 1 million acres of 60 to 90 pounders, I can't say we saw 1 million acres of 5 to 8 pounders or 10 to 12 pounders. So, where were they? Are they going to show up? Yeah, that to me is the big unknown. I still, that said, based on the health of the
abundance of life right now,
the health of the area, the resource, the entire food chain, beginning with the finfish and all the way up, I think that we're going to continue this incredible trend of good fishing, be it yellowtail, be it tuna. I think we're going to see a whole lot of good fishing. I know that's the politician's answer, but I think that we can, you got to prepare for everything.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. So let's talk about the A word. And I'm going with the Tommy Rothery theory. The Tommy Rothery theory says that I'm predicting albacore for 2025. And I'm going to stick with that. But this year, right now, tons of anchovy around. You go to the bait receiver, beautiful anchovy. Could it happen?
Merrilee, you must know going into this that Pete has predicted. Pete is the one to predict albacore and has every year for about the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So that
It
and he's
happened
the last
once.
man standing.
Yeah.
He's the last man standing that was going to predict albacore
Tommy
for next
Rothery
year.
originated.
That's true.
Right, yeah.
The two of you are the last standing, so that when it finally does happen, Pete will be the one who did it.
Who
So,
predicted
yeah,
it. Yes.
exactly. So
And I've been in this industry through marriage
Yes,
for
yes, you
about
have.
32 years, and I've heard this prediction.
Okay.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wish you well.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
So one thing I can say is, and this goes back, probably, I think we're 20 something plus years, and it used to be every year, pray for albacore. Nobody prays for albacore anymore. Everybody's,
no way, man.
we were
No
way
way.
past
Yeah,
that.
no
Do we
way.
really want albacore? No.
We
Well,
want-
we don't want any big 150-pound bluefin. We don't want any 80-pound yellowfin.
We want albacore. We want
Those
albacore
torpedoes.
bad. We love those little guys, but we're not gonna like pin all our hopes and dreams on them anymore, because we've done so well with all of this bluefin and again everything else that comes along with it. There's been so many years now where those albacore just have not arrived on scene that. If they come, great. What a bonus. I mean, I can't wait to see that myself again, return to the albacore cycle.
It could happen, though.
We've talked about this before. Can you imagine there's an entire generation of anglers that fish on our boats, kids that haven't even seen one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even seen one.
Did you ever see one?
Let alone caught one.
Back in the day?
Didn't one sneak through this
40, man.
Well,
I've been through 2 cycles of them.
Two
now.
cycles. Okay.
I've
all
worked in
right.
the tackle store since I was 15, man.
Yeah, but there's a lot
That's
of
right. They were here in the 90s.
yeah, there's a lot of kids, a lot of 15, 16, 18 year olds, 30 year olds that
Duke?
they haven't seen it.
I would say
Duke hasn't seen them, right?
Oh, he's seen them, but he hasn't
When he was an infant.
When he was coming to us in 2004. Yeah, he's never been on the boat. We've had like
Wide
a
open,
ripping
yeah.
albacore bite.
I always say the same thing. Like half of the guys who work at the tackle store, I think are some of the best fishermen that I know. Like amazingly skilled, done everything, gone everywhere, big tunas and swordfish. And a lot of those guys have literally never seen a live one before. And I mean, they're extremely accomplished fishermen. And like half of our crew has not seen a live albacore before.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah, for sure. You have a good text, huh?
I sure thought so. It says, Tim, being the professional that you are with Royal Star and Fisherman's Processing, it's clear second best is never good enough. And I love what you guys strive for. I have a problem. My home processing game is second best. I'm using a Food Saver vacuum packing machine, and it's not right. I know it's going against what we've been talking about a little bit, but can you recommend for a home processor what the next level of vacuum packing needs to be?
I really cannot say that I'm in the high in the experience department when it comes to the home processing. I will say that I have seen, because my son's done it a few times with his friends, that Food Saver product, and it's not anywhere close to what the product that is produced on those, heavy commercial vacuum machines. It just, I don't think that it has the same amount of vacuum. I mean, I know those machines that we use, it's like 99.8%, 99.2%. I mean, all of the air gets out of it, and the bags too. The bags are, the Food Saver bags. They're. I don't think they're 5 mil. At least the ones I've seen aren't. So I think that's the biggest difference. But it's, I mean, the difference between 96% vacuum and 99% is like night and day.
Lolly and I bought a VacMaster from Harold Davis like 20 years ago, and I'm going to say it's the best investment we ever made.
Which is a chamber seal.
It's a chamber seal. It's like a commercial grade unit, and it is. We use it not only for fish, but for soups, for lobsters, for packaging anything. I mean, it is bar none one of the best things. But the key is 5 mil bags. You got to get that 5 mil bag, but you get the perfect vacuum. As long as you have your machine set up right, you put the oil in, it's a no-brainer. And they're not cheap. They're like $1,000, but we've had it for 20 years, and it's, we use it all the time. It's worth it. So
way worth it.
Spend the money, get the good one.
Amen.
Good for you.
Yeah, for sure.
It's probably one of the most frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
Even Roy Rose and his wife were asking me, Merrilee, what's our vacuum seal machine? I'm like, it's kind of big for your house in Cabo, but here you go.
But yeah, this is just a single chamber.
I love it.
It fits in the closet. We have a little rack that it fits in the closet. It works great. Yeah.
Hot off the wire text from Gerby on the boat.
Hey.
80. Oh, wait. 80 yellowfin tuna, 14 bluefin this morning.
Come on.
Whoa, let's
go.
This morning, it's 8:30. Read that again. How many?
80 yellowfin, 30 to 40 pounders, 14 bluefin. He says small ones, 25 to 30 pounders.
Those boys
Way
have
to
been
go,
busy
Gerb.
this morning.
Yeah.
That's a serious hit for 8:30 in the morning. That's awesome. Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way. More of your phone calls, more texts, and a whole lot more with the gang from Fisherman's Processing and the Royal Star. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hey, this is Captain Benny Florentino, owner-operator of Coastal Charters. Just want to announce that I'll be running the Cayman 26 hybrid boat from West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa. Hybrid being a center console with bay boat features. The boat features a Michael Peters step hull that'll give both myself and my guests.
And they try to make us like a finance thing. They're like, no, and then split it up. We're all going to pay. It's like, no, one of you's going to pay. We're not going to, and then divide this all up. It's like, you can do that in the parking lot. If you're doing one reservation, you guys are dividing.
Yeah.
You're paying each other back. You can Venmo.
Every one of you guys has a calculator on your phone and has the access to Venmo the other.
And you want to accommodate, but it just
Benny
becomes.
Florentino. West Coast Marine in Costa Mesa is your source for Camus boats, as well as Parker boats, Yamaha outboards, and now Mercury outboards. Sales and service, the finest you can find. Go see Nick and the guys at West Coast Marine on Newport Boulevard in Costa Mesa, or check westcoastmarine.com.
It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore with different colors every 100 feet. Perfect for flatfall fishing. Want to learn more? Check powerpro.com.
For your next fishing adventure, check Point Loma Sport Fishing. They offer half-day and full-day trips daily, perfect for families and the novice or seasoned fishermen. Point Loma Sport Fishing also offers overnight to multi-day trips, targeting the best of seasonal catches. Visit PointLomaSportFishing.com, where you can purchase tickets online and get more information on the trips available, or call 619-223-1627. Want to go fishing? Point Loma Sport Fishing has you covered.
Hello, this is Captain Mike Totter from Searcher Sport Fishing. Alongside my colleague, Chef Josh Evans, and our dedicated team, we invite you to join us aboard the Searcher. Our fishing trips range from 1.5 to 8 days, available May through November, and include charter options. We're committed to upholding a legacy of top-notch customer service, delicious food, and a friendly and talented crew. Book your fishing adventure online at searchersportfishing.com.
All right, guys, coming back.
Call Rachel at 619-226-2403. That's searchersportfishing.com. We look forward to welcoming you aboard.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time. Again, if you want to get through, it's been a very busy morning. 213-432-1090 is the phone number, or send us a text. Keep those rolling in on the Let's Talk Hookup app.
Yeah, for sure. Great stuff here. And I have a really, really good text from our good buddy Cheer in Cardiff. And
love Cheer.
Cheer's great. And Merrilee, there are like dozens of these in the text. And it says, "Hi, Pete, Rick, Tim, and Merrilee. Just my opinion, by the quality of service and quality of processing, Fisherman's processing is quite a bit above the rest. Also, Merrilee, thank you for the smoking brine. You're the best." But I'm telling you, like, Ricky, I mean,
That's
like
what they all
dozens
are.
of
Yeah,
texts,
exactly.
like everybody like throwing kudos out at you guys. So
Nice.
keep up the good work.
And we do have it back. Thanks, Cheer. We have smoking brine packaged and ready for you if you guys
so
need it. Yeah.
explain that.
So just like we have the rubs, we also, our brine, we actually bag it up and you can take it. So it's for you if you want to do some home smoking. Everybody's got
Like you want to smoke a turkey or you want to smoke your own fish or whatever.
Yeah.
So
So
this is
we have a
made
pre-made brine package and it's got the instructions on the back. And
How
so,
sweet is that?
Yeah. So we keep it in stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
Cheer
good
was a big instigator. We had sold
Ah.
out. He asked me for some more. I'm like,
Come on, Merrilee, bring it back.
and we had it there in 24 hours.
So let me tell you guys about the probably the biggest difference especially the front of the house and some of the critical feedback that we received prior to Merrilee taking over. There was a lot of critical feedback about the lack of communication and how difficult it was to get a hold of somebody and have a live voice on the phone. That's all out the door. Now, when you call Fisherman's Processing, you get a live voice on the phone immediately. And if you don't, if it goes to the machine, you'll get a call back as soon as they're off the phone with the call.
Even if you don't leave a message, we actually, every missed call, we call back.
Oh, we know who you are.
But what
Not
a
quite
difference-
that.
And I know myself as I'm probably your average guy, man. And if somebody doesn't pick up the phone, I hang up, or if I'm a lot less likely to text or look for a text or I want to talk to somebody.
No
So
doubt.
that has been the biggest difference up there. And God, what a tremendous impact it's had. In addition to having an answer, you have a positive, cheerful.
Catherine
nice-
and Jordan are just,
Yeah,
they're
they're nice.
just really,
someone who's helpful.
they want to help. Like, just explain it to us. How can we help you?
And you talked about in the beginning about, what some of the challenges are, and it's because they're all individual orders. And like, you can't
Individual boats with how many individual passengers on every single one. So we got to talk to you to know what you want.
you can't relay a custom order without talking to somebody about it. It just
Amen.
doesn't happen. It doesn't happen over text.
Yeah, and hey, let me touch upon that real quick on the fish processing side. I want all our listeners, everyone, the best result, the best chance at getting the perfect result that you want is to make your order as simple as possible.
I'll bet.
Simple is better. When you say, okay, I want it in 1 pound packs, that is about perfect. And I'm not saying you can't customize your order, but you just got to remember there's so many moving parts. There's so much going on that, when it's, I want 1 fish this way, 3 fish this way, 2 fish that way, I want the odds of something going awry in something complicated are unfortunately pretty good, as opposed to a simple order.
The more and more and more that you get.
Yeah, you just gotta, again, we're all about custom orders. We'll do whatever, but you guys just remember that the best result is achieved through simplicity. So I want to throw that out there.
I like it.
Very good. Well, let's jump back in the phones, Rick.
You got it. How about this time? We talked to Chuck, and Chuck this morning's calling us from Dana Point. Good morning, Chuck. Welcome to Let's Talk Hookup.
Hey, man, I can't wait to have albacore that sat in the brine instead of the sack all day. My God, it was half cooked, wasn't it? These kids that don't know, they're not missing that much. It's just another species. There's other fish that fight so much better, but you had to go so far out, Now, I got a reputation with the people I give fish to. I give them smoked fish when I can't freeze it. I don't like freezing it, so I give it to them smoked after the 5 days in the ice, and I bag it as soon as I get home. But the people that give me fish to smoke, are they hitting them with fresh water when it looks like white? I couldn't even tell what the last fish was they gave me until it thawed out. Is that water?
Yeah,
that bad for it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it
water.
is. Yeah, you don't want to put fresh water when you're filleting it, or just the tiniest amount possible, and dry it off completely with a paper towel. But fresh water, it does bad things to the fillets when you go to put it in a bag, vacuum seal it. It makes it gets that soft layer. I mean, it doesn't ruin it. You just have to trim off that little layer before you prepare it.
Yeah, and the paper towels are sticking to it like a magnet.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
cool.
Well,
Thank you guys.
You got it. See ya.
All right. Thanks a lot for the
Chuck.
call. Hey, this portion of the show sponsored by the best place in the world to get your gasoline, and that is, of course, Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena. It's the place to fill up your car, your truck, your boat, the lowest gas and diesel prices. It's just amazing how they do that. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. Summit's also the best place to get your ice, your snacks. 25 cents for your first 5-pound bag of ice. Can you believe that? Or $3.99 for 25 pounds of ice. As many as you want. That's half the price of others. Plus, you get 100 pounds of free ice with a 35-gallon fill. Kirkland products for lower prices than the store that makes them. Dozens of great snacks for just 89 cents and so much more. Summit Gasoline, the best place to get your ice and your fuel, is at the San Diego Sports Arena right next door. So actually, it's part of the San Diego Sports Arena. You just drive right in, and 27 bays, all the room you want to get in there. It's a great spot.
How much ice do we need to bring if we're picking up our same day fish processing? Like how much ice do we need to show up with?
None. It's gratis. It's complimentary with every order.
Part of the deal.
That's something that, again, besides the table ready product and the amazing 5 mil bags and what goes on, we will fill your chest with ice or gel packs if it's frozen, and that is part of what you pay for at Fisherman Processing.
The level of customer service on loadout still is probably like next to watching the guys just like unbelievably cut quickly through big fish is so cool to me. Just watching, there's a team member like helping you load the cooler, throwing bags of ice in it, throwing the coolers in the back of the truck, whatever it is. It is the perfect send-off. It's the handshake. It's I got you covered on every little bit of it. You show up, we got you taken care of. That's what you're paying for. Go enjoy your fish.
We use food analogies a lot, and we want to be the cherry on top of the trip. We want to finish it off.
This is a funny text. Dave in Marindo Ray says, "What do you do with the carcasses? If I wanted to buy some heads, would you sell them to me?"
Well, first of all,
if you want to keep your heads, you can.
Yeah, you can come down and take heads.
Take all the carcasses. If you want your carcasses, you can keep them, huh?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, we were joking earlier about it, but we do put like pet kits together. Like some people want the bloodline or for their cats or their dogs or to go from there. And if you do want the heads, it's actually it used to drive Tim crazy in the freezer. The heads in the freezer that are going through. We have plenty of heads that are going around there, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Back in the day, we used to zip tie a head to the bottom of like a yellowtail head or something to the bottom of a hoop net. And it was absolutely the best bait. Not anymore.
You
would have a chance. Sea lions are all over
it. A sea lion would grab that thing and drag your hoop around before it hit the bottom. Like while it's still sinking, one would already have had his head in there and grab it, swim it off somewhere else. Zero chance of doing that these days.
Yeah, for sure.
I had a fun text come through. It says, "Good morning, Pete, Rick, Merrilee, and Tim. What a pleasure to have you two on the show today. Your fish processing is absolutely the best. My question is for Tim. With this little bit of weather we have going on right now, it made me start to think, could you tell us a story of some of the craziest weather, when and where you've gone through over your career fishing? And for Merrilee, what's the biggest fish that you guys have ever had come across the table at Fisherman's Processing?"
Wow.
So I've only been hands-on for the last year, and we had a 315, 315 or 316 come through this summer. But that world record came through on the XL. Got to see the pictures of it. That was amazing.
Wow. Rad
so
fish.
that was pretty impressive. And I heard that they took that to have a mount made, which I don't blame them. It's a world record.
Yeah,
Come on, go from there.
We've done some pretty big swordfish there. Guys swordfish in like 500 pounders.
500 pounders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've got that hoist for lifting it up and going from there. So
I will tell you the coolest fish that I saw us filleting there was that 160-pound Opa.
That Opa was amazing.
Oh yeah,
160.
Yeah, let's see,
Whoa, that's a monster.
This thing was huge. Yeah, but I mean, like
we had to use a step ladder.
Everybody stopped. We all stopped.
That was on our the Royal Star
right.
trip, the 4-day Royal Star that I was on.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Huge.
It was
Yeah, but
giant.
the whole shop, everybody stopped.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we watched George fillet that thing up.
And what an oddly shaped fish. You know what I mean? Like they're so round. Like there's no like, oh, I gotta reach over to the other side. Like there is no doing like the number of 360s that thing probably had to do on the table before it was done getting cut. It's got to be wild.
That's
Like
exactly
pretty weird.
what it
I'll
was.
bet.
Spin,
Yeah.
cuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah, for sure.
That's right.
Does a weather day come to mind
I'm
over
gonna
years
tell
and
you
years
guys,
of it?
When we're talking about weather on the boat, I always, when the trip starts, I always remind everybody that we recognize that it's a vacation experience. So avoiding the weather at all costs, if we can, and put you guys in the best position to fish or to travel in calm weather, that plays big into our game plan. And we don't see anywhere near the kind of weather nowadays as we used to be. Starlink on the boat 24/7, and forecasting is so accurate. It's just incredible. So, I don't want to tell a weather story and scare anybody off, because it isn't like that anymore.
Yeah.
When we see weather coming, we're out of there.
Yeah.
And we have our boats are obviously, they're designed for offshore. They're incredible platforms. They're safe as hell. And we've been in some weather that you don't want to be in, and the boats handle it well. But we don't do that anymore. We don't have to do that anymore, because the forecasting is so good. We can, and all the way out a week ahead, we construct our game plan, our strategies based on minimizing the weather. And if that means going in and fishing the coast on a day where it's blowing like hell on the outside, you know what? We go into the coast. And not that we put it up to a vote, but I guarantee you, 100 times out of 100, if I go into galley, there's 20 of us sitting there, I go, okay, guys, you got the choice of going out to Laos Rocks and 30 knots with 12 to 15 foot seas, or we're going to go fish the beach, try for a few yellowtail where it's flat calm. Can I get a vote?
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah.
And that timepiece cannot, it's
funny.
not been invented to clock the amount of time.
I can tell you, they come in the next morning at the shop and everybody's got bedhead and they're still kind of moving. I'm like, you just sit down.
I got you. Don't worry about it.
I got you.
We've certainly dealt with some weather, on the backside of storms or coming up the line when you have to go. But like I said, it's usually a 10 or 12 hour affair where you got to hold on with both hands, and then it's over.
Well, speaking of how rad the Starlink and communication is, about 30 seconds after Tim got the text that, you guys had 80 tuna and everything else this morning, 5 minutes later, my boat partner and best fishing buddy Neil's on the boat. And I got the same text about a minute later. Like, it's just wild how cool the communication
Neil's on the boat, the 4-day right now?
On the boat right now, yeah, getting on the fish. And he said it was absolutely.
Did he catch like 40 of the 80?
He said it was absolutely wild this morning. He said it would bite 100-pound in the corner, no problem. Pin a bait on, put it in the water, you have one on immediately.
Wow.
Sounded really, really fun.
Sounds like
late December 4-day.
Dude, it's
Late
almost
December,
January. January in a couple days. This is unreal.
And just to point out the convenience of that Starlink, if you forgot to make your reservation,
Yeah, straight up.
you can get a hold of
smart
us
is
from
that?
the boat.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm just putting it
Just
out there.
saying.
I like it.
Yeah, I just send it.
We're
send it
here
in.
for you. Just
Yeah.
communicate.
All right. Had a great text this morning. It touches on something that we've already talked about. It says, good morning, guys. I absolutely adore Fisherman's processing. I wouldn't go without it. You guys provide the best service. What happens to all the byproduct is his question, and says, I can't imagine what a storage problem that might be.
So we send it out for cat food.
Yeah, we work with the cat food company, and it's actually how we get our recycling
They come and
credit.
pick it up?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
almost daily in the height of the season.
Wow.
So we have containers, and we position the bycatch over in a different refrigerated area, and it goes to a cat food company. It's how we get our California composting and recycling credit.
Yeah, we don't sell it. We
Yeah.
just give it to them. Yeah, it's a lot, as you can imagine.
can
I mean,
that's to
if
his
it's-
point. To his point, the storage is the thing, and that's why I wanted to read that text. Is like you couldn't possibly store that much stuff, and I know that's one of the struggles of it is. When we're talking about having 20 boats come in, over a couple of day period, just being able to keep that much fish and turn it and move it has got to be one of the biggest challenges.
And that's a really good opportunity to talk about the storage and capacity and why we've adapted our systems and how it's evolved going to the end product, the frozen product. Why we have implemented that 14-day cold storage. Like you have 14 days of free storage of your product there, which is really generous. That's a long time. So you get your fish processed, you want it frozen, you have to pick it up within 14 days. 14 days, cold storage kicks in. And I'll tell everybody, it's an exorbitant fee. It's expensive. And the reason why is because we don't want
it.
your fish there. We want you guys to pick it up, take it home, enjoy your product, and you know, we
Share
just
with
have
your friends.
share with your friends, but we only have so much capacity. And when we're in height of the season, man, it stacks up. And the freezer's huge.
How many people utilize the cold storage fee?
Very, very, very few.
Well, once they get it, that's the last time they do it. Yeah,
very few. But you know, and we said it before on the show. We just want to reiterate it. We don't want to charge you.
No.
guys.
Totally.
No. It's the
No, I'm
last
not
thing
a
we
cold
wanna
storage
do.
business.
Yeah,
I'm a
you're-
fish processor.
You're not looking to use that as a profit
No.
source. You're looking at it as a hey man,
That's
you've been
exactly
given 2
right.
weeks. That's plenty of time to get all your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Let's come get this so that there's
or
room
have it shipped to you.
so that there's room for
Whatever.
the next guy. And I mean that's all it is like you gotta make room for the next guy that wanted the same level of service that you got.
That's right. And in years past, we actually were held up. Like we could not
They turned
bring
people
more
away 'cause we
fish
couldn't
in for processing
hold it.
because we didn't have any room.
Yeah,
we literally didn't have
It was a
anything.
bad system.
Oh, it was just
Yeah.
it just needed to be evolved. You know,
Yeah, it had to change.
and hey, on that note, also for everybody listening, one thing I really want to emphasize as far as your processing goes, when you before your trip or during your trip, have a plan as to what you're going to do with your fish. Like know what you want done as far as your processing, what you want. That way, when the trip gets in, you can leave your instructions and move the process along as quickly as possible. It makes such a difference. And I know this probably sounds stupid to have to say it, but you'd be amazed at how many times. And again, guys, I've been involved in fish processing more than I ever thought I would be this year. But up at the top of the dock, watching anglers come up and here's this big pile of fish on the sidewalk, and they're rubbing their chin. Oh, what am I going to do with this now? And and all of that adds up to minutes, and those minutes add up to hours when it comes to moving the process along.
Right.
So have a plan. Know what you're going to do with your fish as far as your processing order goes, and know what you're going to do with your fish once it's processed. You know what I mean? That way it's a real clear
Right.
path for everybody to again move that process along.
I love it. This is a great question for Tim. It says, hey, Tim, this is Steve from Escondido. What a great show this is, as usual. My question is, Tim, if you were in the position of a private boater and wanted to deliver the perfect product back to Fisherman's Processing up from a big bluefin, what would be the best method to get that sushi grade out of that fish?
Slush with a bag for sure. The
Those
big
big
bag.
kill bags?
Yeah,
The big
you
white
guys
bag.
have big white bag, loaded with ice. I don't know that it depends on how long you're going to be in there, but it's going to be in there. You don't need to add too much salt because you don't want to freeze the thing. Do you guys add salt?
We don't. No.
Yeah,
We just ice
I would
heavy.
really be cautious about that because you add that salt, you bring that you can bring that temperature down below freezing. You'll
And
freeze
it
your
makes
fish.
such a nice product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But definitely, bleed your fish out, gill and gut it. Bring a cord out there. Bring the tripwire,
the circuit breaker.
Circuit breaker from
yeah,
AFCO.
tripwire,
Yeah.
Bring the circuit breaker. Bring a long piece of heavy mono, something to run it down the spine. Dress it out right away. Don't let it sit. Get those guts out of there, and then pack it with ice in that bag, or if there's slush, immerse it in that ice, and it will be.
But don't fillet it and then put it on ice when exposed like that, right?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. You don't want to touch in that fresh water, right?
No, and your fish you're better off keeping that fish whole and letting it chill for at least 24 hours.
Absolutely.
That's actually better. Everything relaxes. The quality of the meat
At least 24
Yeah, at least.
And that's our recommendation with everybody. Give us a whole fish, keep it on ice.
Yeah.
Even with the local guys, a lot of the boats will come back with like the crew had filleted it for them, and they're like, "We're sorry," and I'm like, "Hey, just next trip, just tell them not," because at that point, you're going to have a small fish fee because you've already got filleted product, and we can't guarantee the yield. We're just trying to fix somebody else's cut job.
Right. Hey, this portion of the show is sponsored by the Fish Pros at Fisherman's Processing in San Diego, where you get the premier processing experience. Check out the easier online system to book your processing. We've been talking about it all morning. It's so easy. Book your long range trip or book your local trip or whatever and book your processing. Hey, more same day capacity. You said you doubled the same day.
Yeah, we
capacity.
have.
We did.
Yeah.
So it's the only place to go. Fisherman's Processing. Make your reservations at fishermansprocessing.com and give us the kind of the gist on your website. When you go to fishermansprocessing.com, how does that work?
As Tim said, it's keep it simple. So you pull it up. It's a black web page with 2 green buttons. One's for shopping, where you can get our rubs or our logo.
Oh, so you
gear,
can
go
actually
from
shop for the rubs and you'll ship them.
Yep,
the rubs.
Absolutely. And the other one says make your reservation. So you click on the green button, put in your customer profile information, make a reservation. You just say what boat you're going to, what landing it's at, accept the terms, which mean when your processing's done, you're going to pay for it. If we're going to ship it to you. And it's a real simple process.
And
Put
what
your
if you wanted
$100 deposit down?
what if
Done.
you want to do it the old-fashioned way and pick up the phone?
And pick up the phone. We'll
Pick up the
answer it
phone
and we'll take care of it.
And you'll
Love
book
it.
the processing
Yeah,
on the phone.
we just do it
Take
for
your
you.
credit card,
Yeah,
everything.
it's the same
Yeah.
system. We just put it in for you.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, the whole Starlink thing. I mean, every boat I think now has Starlink. So we have a bunch of anglers that they just call for the
They
boat.
call it up.
Oh, I don't have a reservation. Yeah, go give them a call.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi
That's
calling.
so
oh, yes,
rad.
like you're
That's so
standing
rad.
there.
And if you're somebody that we process this year, if we have a card on file for you, you can text us or call us and give us permission to charge your card, and we'll put your reservation in that way. No problem.
You should be really proud of how streamlined and efficient you guys made this. I mean, it was always a great business. It is so much better in a very short amount of time. It's really cool to see.
Thank you, Rick.
You guys did a great job.
And there's been a really good learning curve this year. We've learned a lot of things and ways to make it even better.
That's
and
cool.
it's going to be better. So I
It's just who
been
we
our,
are.
Yeah, it's been our
That's
trademark
awesome.
forever. You guys know it's like you just have to make something better. So it's going to be even better and get more efficient and
Cool.
again, the customers.
Well,
will
let's
be the-
try and sneak in one more call.
You got it. How about we talk to Charlie calling us from La Mirada this morning? Hey, Charlie, welcome to Let's
Real
Talk
quick
Hookup.
question, Charlie.
Hey, good morning, Pete, Rick, and guests. Great show this morning. Just to touch on the processing, is there any pickling or jarring or canning of these tuna available in that particular area, or is there an area that you might recommend for canning that type of tuna in spears?
So we do not can on site, but we work with a cannery from Washington. So if you wanted to trade your tuna in for cans, we have ahi that's available, and you can get it in olive oil, natural seasoning, or jalapeno. And we just have a 30% yield conversion, and then we convert that to cans for you, and you can walk out with cans the same day.
Wow.
But you
That's
pay
awesome.
for the can.
Yeah, it's
plus pay.
$5 per pound.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hey, when we come back, we're going to find out who's going fishing on board the Liberty. More Let's Talk Hookup with Tim and Merrilee. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Hey everyone, James Holst here with Norsk Lithium, the official battery partner of Let's Talk Hookup. Here at Norsk Lithium, we have two goals that drive who we are and what we do. The first is to make the highest quality, longest lasting lithium batteries available with a complete lineup of batteries that include 12, 24, 36 volt, and starting batteries. Second, in addition to offering a 10-year warranty on all Norsk Lithium marine batteries, we provide amazing customer service before and after the sale. Check us out online at norsklithium.com. That's NORSK lithium.com, or call us at 831-232-9063. Or to see Norsk Lithium batteries in person, stop by the Trolling Motor Doctor in Lakewood or Anglers Marine in Anaheim and see why Norsk Lithium batteries should be in your boat.
No matter where the adventure takes you, we've got you powered. Norsk Lithium.
Gamakatsu is not just all about hooks. There's so much more, including the new Gamakatsu fillet knives. Once you try one, you'll always want more. The new tools are also very special, including the Gamakatsu braid scissors made with ceramic blades so they'll never rust. Check out the new lineup of shirts and hats, and of course, Gamakatsu fishing pliers and boxes are amazing. Gamakatsu, much more than just the best hooks. Get them at your local tackle shop or at gamakatsu.com.
There are moments that change our perception of what is and isn't possible. Cosmic shifts where the stars align with the earth to alter how we see the world. The release of King Tide is one of those moments. This is the crowning achievement of Costa's 40-year legacy on the water, the culmination of every innovation and lessons learned up until this point. Wins and losses and highs and lows have brought us here to stand witness to a legacy brought to life, to achieve the ultimate potential on the water. Costa King Tide, rule the water.
Hey, San Diego, the Ford Get Holiday Ready sales event is going on now at your San Diego County Ford dealers. The biggest deals of the year to finish 2024, featuring America's best-selling truck, Ford F-Series, leading for 47 straight years. Or check out the full lineup of versatile Ford SUVs, including Bronco or Bronco Sport. Don't wait. Come take a test drive today. Get holiday ready only at your local San Diego County Ford dealers. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Welcome back to Let's Talk. We're having a great time here this morning. All right, Merrilee's going to do us the honor and flip the prize coin, find out who's going fishing on the boat. We have, it's on the ground. We have
Texter.
It is a texter.
Yeah, I saw it.
Congratulations, Dan in Pomona. You have got yourself a trip on board the Liberty. Congratulations.
All right, congratulations. And boy, what a great show, you guys.
Awesome, you guys.
Super good time. If somebody wants to make a reservation, how do we do it, Merrilee?
Go to fishermansprocessing.com, click on the green reservation button, or give us a call at 619-255-3128. We'd be happy to talk to you. We are actually taking some much needed days off for these holidays, but we'll be back in on Monday the 30th.
Okay.
For you guys.
So, but you can still make the online reservation.
You can do online right now, and then we'll return all calls starting on the 30th.
Yeah, because that's when the boat gets back in.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Look how that happens.
And Tim, if somebody wants to book a trip on the Royal Star, how do we do that?
RoyalStarSportFishing.com or give us a jingle in the office, 619-224-4764. And I just want to.
Are there any spots available?
There's a few here and there.
Yeah.
Just a few.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, everybody. I want to end the year with a heartfelt thank you for both your support of Royal Star, Fisherman's Processing, trusted in the process. You know, there's been a lot of changes, but they've all been for the better. And like I said, we pledge that it's going to get better and better as we go into the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Thank
you.
you.
Sure. Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you for all your support here, too. And thank you to Danny for manning the phones, Adam for the Let's Talk Hookup app. And thanks to you out there, your calls, your texts, and of your support of Let's Talk Hookup. Very appreciative. We'll be back. Big show tomorrow. Wayne Cotto from CCA, California. It's his retirement show. And we're going to have some very, very special guests calling in. So that's a don't miss show. Thanks for listening today. We'll see you tomorrow morning right back here on the Let's Talk Hookup app, Sports Grid Radio Network, YouTube, Facebook Live, and 1090 AM.